In deep space, far beyond the last human colony, there was a small listening station called Echo 7. It floated alone near a dying star. No one lived there permanently. Only one human and one AI controlled it, watching for signs in the dark. Captain Rhea Morgan sat alone at the control panel. Her job was simple: monitor radio waves, scan for signals, and report anything strange. For 5 years, nothing had happened. Just silence. Cold, endless silence. Then everything changed. It started with a whisper, faint static on a frequency no one used anymore. At first, she thought it was just background noise from the star, but then the pattern repeated. 3 short bursts, 2 long ones, and one strange tone that didn't belong. Rhea leaned forward. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. "Echo, is this a known transmission?" she asked. The AI's voice responded, calmly. "Negative. Signal origin unknown. No match in Terran or Galactic databases." Rhea frowned. "Run a deeper scan. Check historical archives." As Echo worked, Rhea watched the screen. The signal was still coming, repeating every 45 seconds. The structure was old, very old. She had studied ancient communication codes in the academy, and this one reminded her of the First Age over 10,000 years ago. Finally, Echo replied. "Partial match detected. Signal shares structure with band precursor transmission. Last known. Use. Before the fall." Rhea's heart skipped a beat. The fall was a galactic event that wiped out hundreds of civilizations. It was never fully explained. Only pieces of information had survived, scattered across space. Many believed it was caused by a war between ancient, powerful species. Others said it was something worse, something that didn't belong in the galaxy. And now, a signal from that time had returned. She recorded it and sent it through secure channels back to Earth Command. Then she waited. 4 hours passed, no reply. That was strange. Command always responded to potential threats within minutes. Then a message finally came. But it wasn't from Earth. It was from a hidden channel, encrypted in a strange way. Rhea almost ignored it, until she saw the origin code. It came from a Deathworlder ship. No one had seen a Deathworlder vessel in years. These were humanity's most elite fighters. They were trained in deadly conditions, on planets where no other life could survive. They didn't answer to governments, only to threats. She opened the message. It was short, only one word: run. Rhea stood up slowly. The room felt colder. "Echo, is there any movement near this sector?" Echo hesitated. "Multiple ships detected, but none broadcasting signals, approaching from 3 directions." "They're hiding?" she whispered. "Confirmed. Formation suggests encirclement." Her hands shook. "Initiate silent mode. Shut down all broadcasts. Prepare emergency drone." Acknowledged. Outside the station, space remained quiet, but the signal kept coming. It changed slightly. New tones, new pulses. Echo analyzed the change and translated a fragment. "Message updated," it said. Embedded phrase decoded, "They are not dead." Rhea stared at the screen. "Who's they?" "Unknown," Echo replied. "But signal origin is moving." "Moving?" she repeated. "Yes. The source is not a planet. It is a ship." That made no sense. No ship that old should still be active, unless something had kept it alive. Or someone. Rhea launched the emergency drone. It carried all her data, including the signal, and a personal message. "Do not ignore this. The past is waking up." As the drone flew into hyperspace, she looked out the main window. Nothing but stars and darkness. But then, she saw it. A shadow passed near the edge of her vision. Huge, silent, wrong. It didn't reflect light. It bent it. Echo sounded one final alert. Object approaching, no life signs, no heat, unknown origin. Rhea's voice was calm, but her eyes were wide with fear. It came for the signal. Yes, Echo said. And now it knows. We heard it. The last thing she saw was a flash of darkness, and then everything went black. Dr. Kasim Varl was not a soldier. He was a scientist, an expert in ancient signals and forgotten codes. He lived on Luna Prime, Earth's moon colony. His life was quiet, filled with research, coffee, and long nights decoding old star records. But today, something strange appeared in his inbox. The message was unmarked. No sender, no tags, no government ID. Inside was a signal file. It had a note. From Echo 7, urgent, analyze immediately. Kasim opened the file. At first he thought it was a joke. The structure was too old, something he'd only seen in old ruins from the edge of the galaxy. But as he studied it, chills ran down his spine. There was a pattern hidden deep inside the signal. Not just data, a map. He leaned forward. Computer, extract coordinates. The AI did as told. The result appeared on screen. The location was far, outside known trade routes in an empty zone marked dead system, no life. But the system wasn't dead anymore. The signal had been sent from there, or close to it. Kasim knew he had to act fast. He couldn't go to Earth Command. They buried things like this. He needed someone who still believed in action. He opened a secure channel. Captain Myra Tanis, he said into the mic. It's Kasim. I found something, and you're not going to like it. Captain Myra Tanis was a retired fleet officer, once part of Earth's Black Wing. Now she flew a small private scout ship, the Arrow, working odd jobs across the outer colonies. When Kasim's call came in, she almost ignored it. But the urgency in his voice made her listen. The signal came from a system marked dead for a reason, he explained, but I think it's waking up. She narrowed her eyes. You think this is real? I'm sure. And there's more, he said. The message says one word over and over, in a hidden layer. What word? Kasim hesitated. Run. There was a long silence. Then Myra nodded. Send me the coordinates, I'm going. 3 days later, the Arrow reached the edge of the dead system. It was cold and quiet. The main star was faded, almost dead. Empty planets drifted silently in black space. No signs of life, no radio signals, just darkness. Then the ship's sensors beeped. Object detected, the AI said. Metallic, floating, no engine activity. Myra zoomed in on the screen. It was a shipwreck, a very old one, but not human, not galactic. This design was unknown, ancient, alien. Send the drone, Myra said. The small probe flew from the ship, heading toward the wreck. As it got close, something strange happened. Lights turned on inside the wreck, not normal lights, red pulses blinking in patterns. Then came the sound, the same signal Kasim had decoded. Only now it was stronger, louder, and angry. The AI beeped again. Warning. Motion detected. Something is moving inside the wreck. What? Myra said. The drone's camera focused on the interior. Inside the dead ship, something moved, through the shadows. Long limbs, no face, no light, just shifting darkness. The signal changed again. The word run repeated faster and faster, almost screaming now. Suddenly, the drone's feed cut out. The wreck moved, just slightly, but enough to show it was not completely dead. Myra turned her ship. We're leaving, now. The AI hesitated. Wait, we have one more signal incoming. From where? Behind us. On the screen, another ship appeared. Sleek, black, and terrifying. A Deathworlder scout vessel. It hailed her with a voice she hadn't heard in years. This is Shadow 1, the voice said. We have received the signal. You should not be here. Leave now. Tell no one. Myra's eyes narrowed. You knew about this? We monitor the dark, the voice replied. When the old ones whisper, we listen, and we act. Earth is not ready. The galaxy is not ready. The transmission ended. The Deathworlder ship moved forward, toward the wreck, and behind it more shadows began to appear. Back on Luna Prime, Qasim watched the data come in. He saw the footage. He saw the wreck move, and he saw something else. Second set of coordinates was hidden in the signal, deeper than before. A warning to humanity. A countdown. Only 5 days remained. The galaxy was silent, but not empty. Deep in uncharted space near the dead system, a drone floated slowly through blackness. Its signal was weak, its camera damaged, but it still recorded. Back on Luna Prime, Dr. Qasim sat alone in the observatory. His eyes didn't blink as he watched the footage stream in. The drone had found something, not just a wreck, a movement. It looked like shadows crawling through the broken walls of the ancient ship. Limbs, but not solid, more like dark fog. A shape that should not exist. Qasim's hands shook as he paused. The video. Echo form, moving inside dead metal. They're alive. He enhanced the image. In one frame, he saw an eye. But it wasn't an eye. It was a void. A hole in space, staring back at him. At the same time, Captain Myra Tanis returned to a hidden Deathworlder station called Grave Point. Located inside a broken moon, it was off-grid, invisible to satellites and guarded by AI sentinels. Only the most trusted Deathworlder agents were allowed inside. Myra landed the Arrow and stepped out. Waiting for her was Commander Sora, the leader of Death Squad Black Zero. Sora wore black armor that shimmered like smoke. Her face was calm, but her voice was hard. "You saw the wreck?" Myra nodded. "It moved." Sora didn't react. "The signal is older than anything we've found. Pre-fall, pre-council, maybe even pre-galaxy." Myra stared at her. "Then, why was it sent now?" Sora looked at the screen on the wall. The signal still pulsed, repeating that one word. "Run." "Because it woke up," she said. "And now it's calling." "Calling what?" "Others like it." Meanwhile, Qasim called a secret meeting. He brought in 2 people, a hacker named Zuri and a retired alien historian from the Solari race named Fental. He played the signal. Zuri leaned forward. "This isn't just a message, it's a code. It's broadcasting an invitation, like a beacon." Fental frowned. "The tone structure is familiar. My ancestors spoke of creatures sealed away before the First War. We thought it was myth." Qasim showed them the countdown. "Whatever this signal is doing, it's building towards something. In less than 5 days, something will happen." Zuri hacked into old council databases. Deep files, locked files. She found a name. Project Silent Echo, a forgotten file from 6,000 years ago. The file showed a redacted mission, galactic ships, discovering a black monolith in deep space. After that, every ship vanished. The system was marked dead and blocked from navigation. Zuri whispered. "They covered it up." Qasim looked up slowly. "And now it's awake." At Grave Point, Sora prepared the Deathworlder fleet. She stood before her team, humans bred on Deathworlds like Vulcar 9 and Earth's Siberian war zones. They were tough, quiet, deadly. "Listen carefully," Sora said. "The galaxy doesn't know the truth. The Council lied to keep peace, but we were built for war. That's why we exist." She pointed at the screen. The signal now had an image attached, a glyph burned into data, a spiral made of bones, a symbol of the old ones. The signal was not just a warning, Sora said. It was a trap. Something wanted us to hear it, and now that we have, it's coming. She ordered full deployment. The Deathworlder fleet launched into the dark. Qasim received one more transmission from a dying drone. Its last words chilled him. "They see us." The video showed dozens of dark shapes swimming between wrecks like fish in space, feeding, changing. Then the screen went black. 2 days remained. The countdown continued. But now, It was no longer a secret. All across the galaxy, strange signals echoed in the void. Other listening posts picked them up. Traders reported dead ships floating near jump points. Whole stations vanished without a trace. The council called it rumors. But the Deathworlders knew the truth. The echoes in the dark were no longer echoes. They were voices, calling home. The Deathworlder fleet was on the move. 12 black ships, fast, silent, invisible to normal scanners, cut through deep space like arrows. Each one carried soldiers trained to survive fire, ice, poison, vacuum, and worse. These were not normal humans. They were born on Deathworlds, planets where gravity crushed bones, where air burned lungs, and where only the strongest lived. They had a code. Face fear. Kill it. If you fall, fall forward. Commander Sora stood at the center of the flagship Dagger 1. She watched the map as red marks began to appear. Not ships, not signals, but wounds in space, dark zones where sensors failed, where light bent wrong. The enemy wasn't just coming. It was already here. Estimated time to breach? She asked. 30 hours, the AI replied. But the signal is changing. On screen, the simple word run was replaced with something longer. A new message. We are the last. The prison is breaking. Sora stared in silence. Prison? She remembered an old Deathworlder tale, a forgotten training legend. Before humans walked Earth, the first war was fought. The enemy wasn't a species, it was hunger. A hunger that could think. It ate stars, it wore bones, it was locked away. By something older than time. Most called it a myth. But the signal had proved it real. At the same time, Dr. Kasim, Zuri, and Fental sat deep under Luna Prime in an old Earth bunker. Zuri had broken through another locked file. This one was from a secret human project. Project Black Root. The file contained something horrifying. Over 200 years ago, Earth had already received this signal. Just once. Just a whisper. And they had erased all records of it. Kasim scrolled through the old commander's notes. Signal is not from this dimension. Echoes from a broken universe. Cannot destroy it. Only hide it. Zuri leaned back. They didn't warn anyone. Fentel's voice was cold. Because they were afraid. Kasim nodded. And now it's too late. The cracks are spreading. Suddenly, an alert flashed. A new signal. Not from space, but from Earth itself. Deep below Antarctica, an ancient sensor had activated. It was buried in ice 5 miles thick. Its message was simple. Seal compromised. Back aboard Dagger 1, Commander Sora received the update. A breach on Earth? She asked. Yes, the AI replied. Long dormant facility. Shield integrity at 9% and dropping. Sora's voice hardened. Send ghost team. Full shadow. Entry. Confirmed. Within minutes, 5 Deathworlder operatives launched in stealth pods heading toward Earth at high speed. Their mission? Investigate the breach, stop whatever is coming out, and report back. Meanwhile, Myra Tanis sat alone in her scout ship, the Arrow, flying ahead of the main fleet. She had one goal: reach the source of the signal before anyone else. As she passed into the dead zone, all lights dimmed. Her AI flickered. Scanners showed nothing. Just a black wall of emptiness, but her instincts screamed. She wasn't alone. Her ship shook, alarms blared. Something passed beside her, fast, massive, silent. She caught only a glimpse. It wasn't a ship. It was alive. Twisted metal bones. Wings made of shadow. Eyes like frozen stars. And it was heading toward Earth. On Luna Prime, Kasim opened a final file marked Deathworlders Protocol 0. It had one sentence. If the signal spreads, do not run, do not hide, send them. He finally understood. The Deathworlders were not built to protect the galaxy. They were built to fight what the galaxy had buried. In the last 24 hours before the countdown ended, messages came from across the stars. Entire colonies stopped responding. Black. Holes began forming in places where none had existed, and always. The signal followed. It was no longer a warning. It was a call. A door was opening, and something was stepping through. The Deathworlder stealth pods sliced into Earth's sky like falling stars, their target, Antarctica. Below the frozen wastelands, an ancient structure was waking up. A bunker sealed for thousands of years had sent its first warning. Seal compromised. Ghost. Team landed in silence. 5 elite soldiers. No names, only call signs. Vex, Hollow, Iron, Stitch, and Lead. They moved fast. No sound. No light. Only black armor, sharp eyes, and Deathworlder instincts. They reached the breach site in under an hour. A massive crack had formed in the glacier. Strange red light flickered from deep inside. Lead gave the signal. They dropped down into the dark. Miles. Beneath the ice, the team entered the lost bunker. The walls were not made by humans, they were smooth, ancient stone fused with strange black metal. The air was heavy, like something was breathing with them. Iron scanned the walls. These symbols, they're not from any known species, Stitch replied. Some look burned in, not carved. Suddenly the lights pulsed, the red glow brightened, then dimmed. Then the voices started, faint whispers in languages no one had ever spoken. Vex froze. Did you hear that? Hollow nodded. All around us. Lead raised a fist. Focus. The signal source is close. They moved deeper. What they found stopped them cold. In the center of the ancient structure was a chamber. Inside it stood a giant monolith, 20 meters tall, covered in bones fused into metal. The same bone spiral symbol from the original signal was glowing on it. But the monolith wasn't just a relic. It was a prison, and something inside it was waking up. Above in orbit, Commander Sora watched the data feed. Then it happened. The monolith pulsed once and sent out a new signal. Across Earth, across the moon, across the stars. And then it cracked. Back inside the chamber, the monolith split down the middle. A low, deep sound came out, like stone grinding against bone. From the crack, black mist poured out, not smoke, not gas. It moved. The shadows slithered across the floor. Eyes opened within it, red, endless, watching. Lade shouted, "Fall back!" But it was too late. The mist shot forward. Hollow screamed as the darkness wrapped around him. His armor melted like wax. His voice was cut off mid-shout. The team fired everything. Thermal rounds, plasma blades, sonic grenades. Nothing stopped it. Vex yelled, "It's not matter, it's thought." Stitch grabbed Lead, pulling him out of the chamber. Only 3 made it out. The mist didn't chase. It just stood there, forming a shape, a face, a mouth, a smile made of bone. Then it whispered a word. Free. On Luna Prime, Dr. Kasim watched in horror. "It's spreading," he whispered. The data was clear. Something had escaped, and the signal was no longer just a message. It was a door. Across the stars, other dead zones started glowing. Similar structures, all breaking open. Zuri stared at the map. "They're all waking up. This wasn't just one prison, it was hundreds." Fentel added quietly, "And they are all calling home." Commander Sora activated the emergency code. Dark Protocol 1. Every Deathworlder ship across the galaxy received the command. Enemy class, non-physical. Purpose, consumption, order, eliminate or contain, no retreat. This was what they had trained for, what they were made for. But no one truly believed the legends were real. Until now. Back in Antarctica, the mist moved toward the surface. It flowed like liquid thought, ignoring gravity, ignoring walls. Vex and Stitch made one last stand on the ice shelf. They set explosives across the glacier. "Fall forward," Vex whispered. Stitch nodded. "See you in the next life." They blew the charges. The glacier collapsed. For a moment, silence returned. But deep below, something laughed. From orbit, Dagger 1 launched a massive kinetic strike. A titanium rod the size of a train smashed into the glacier from space. The impact created a crater 5 miles wide. The ice boiled. Everything was vaporized. For now, the breach was closed. But everyone knew it wasn't over, not even close. One day remained. The countdown ticked on. And somewhere beyond the edge of the galaxy, something ancient had turned its eyes toward Earth. The sky above Earth looked the same blue, calm, silent. But in the void beyond the stars, something was watching. The Deathworlder fleet hovered just outside the solar system. Dozens of black ships now stood ready. Their weapons were hot. Shields up. AI alert. Inside Dagger 1, Commander Sora stared at the star map. Across the galaxy, more red zones appeared, places where ancient signals had now turned into screaming voids. Each red dot was a gate, and something was moving through them. The countdown showed 16 hours left. AI spoke quietly. Commander, we've picked up motion. Edge of the system. It's not a ship. Sora narrowed her eyes. Show me. In the cold dark, near Neptune's orbit, space itself began to ripple. A tear opened. Not with fire, not with sound, with silence. From it, a shape crawled into the universe. No engines, no heat. It was large, too large for any species to build. A city-sized creature of metal bones, black wings, and hundreds of red lights blinking like stars. But they weren't lights. They were eyes. And they blinked in unison, then looked straight toward Earth. On Luna, Prime Kasim, Zuri, and Fental watched the footage with frozen faces. Zuri whispered, "That's not a ship. That's alive." Fental's hands shook. "It's one of the Watchers." Kasim turned to him. "You've heard of this? In Silari myth, the Watchers stood at the edge of creation. They were not gods. They were mistakes, trapped before the first breath of time." Zuri spoke next. "It sees everything. The moment we noticed it, it noticed us back." Kasim added, "It's scanning, looking for weakness," Zuri whispered, "looking for fear." In orbit, Dagger 1's AI lit up. Object has locked onto Earth's moon, charging unknown energy. Commander Sora didn't wait. Fire. Now, 12 Deathworlder warships launched their most powerful weapons: kinetic rods, plasma torpedoes, gravity rippers. The sky lit up, but the Watcher didn't flinch. The weapons struck its armor and vanished. No explosion, no reaction, like they were swallowed. The creature slowly turned its head, and then it smiled. Myra Tanis, flying in the Arrow, sent a private message to Sora. "Commander, we can't fight this with bullets." Sora replied, "Then give me another option." Myra's ship had followed a new signal, not from the creature but from Earth. Under the old ruins of Alexandria, Egypt, a forgotten lab had sent out a pulse. Buried in sand was a lost human project called Whisperglass. Inside it, a device not meant to destroy, but to speak back to the signal, not in sound, but in thought. Back on Earth, Kasim and Zuri reached the Alexandria site first. The lab was deep underground, filled with sand, rust, and bones. They found the machine, a circular mirror made of dark matter glass. Symbols were carved all around it. Fental arrived with the old code. Zuri connected the device. It hummed, then pulsed. Kasim placed his hand on it, and the world went silent. Across space, the Watcher stopped moving. It turned its massive head and looked directly toward Earth, not at its surface, at him. Kasim's eyes turned black. He saw everything. Memories not his. Stars being born, stars being eaten. A war fought before atoms existed. And the signal? It wasn't just a warning. It was a test. To see who would answer. Who would wake up the doors, who would open the gates. And now, humanity had answered. Kasim fell back, gasping. "It knows us now," he said. Zuri helped him up. "Then we know it too." The Whisperglass pulsed one more time. A new signal burst into the void, a challenge. In orbit, the Watcher stopped, then turned, and screamed. Not a sound, but a ripple that shattered 3 Deathworlder drones instantly. But the ships held their ground. Commander Sora stood tall. You want Earth? You'll go through us first. 12 hours left. And now, the real war was coming. The galaxy had run. The Council had hidden, but Earth had stood, and the Deathworlders had answered. The stars were quiet. Too quiet. But every soldier on the Deathworlder fleet felt it. The tension in their bones, the pressure in the air, the cold breath of something ancient drawing near. The final hours had begun. Commander Sora stood on the command deck of Dagger 1. Around her, the warship systems glowed red, shields at maximum, weapons charged. The fleet, 47 ships strong, stood between Earth and the creature from the void. They had no backup. The Galactic Council had gone silent. Other species had sealed their systems and prayed. But Deathworlders didn't pray. They fought. The Watcher moved closer. Its body was not like a normal creature. It twisted, stretched, and shifted as if space bent around it. Red eyes blinked in patterns, sending strange signals across the stars. The AI on Dagger 1 translated part of the signal. You opened the gate. We come now. You are not first. You are not last. Sora gritted her teeth. Then let's be the last one standing. On Earth, Kasim, Zuri, and Fental worked fast inside the Alexandria lab. The whisper glass mirror was active, now glowing with strange light. It wasn't just sending messages, it was listening. Zuri stared at the swirling symbols. It's not speaking to us anymore. Kasim nodded. It's speaking to them. Who? Fan asked. Kasim looked up. The other Deathworlders. Above Earth, the Deathworlder fleet formed a living wall. Each ship activated an ancient protocol. One, only used in final battles, Protocol Oblivion. It linked every soldier's mind through their combat implants. A shared network. Emotions, strategies, pain, all connected. They would not fight as individuals. They would fight as one. Sora felt it first. Fear, then determination, then rage, and finally, silence. A unity only possible through Deathworlder training. The Watcher opened its mouth. A beam of black-red energy blasted forward, tearing through space like a god's scream. The Deathworlders moved. Dagger 1 dropped behind a shield ship. Razorwing and Iron Pike flew forward, releasing kinetic swarms. Hundreds of fast, silent missiles launched. The first hit the creature's side. The second hit its face. The third passed through it, harmless. It's phasing, Sora shouted. It's not fully here yet. Zuri's voice came through the whisper glass channel. You must anchor it, pull it fully into real space. Then you can hurt it. Sora gave the order. All ships, link your gravity cores. Fire together. Pull. It in. The fleet moved in perfect rhythm. Graviton tethers launched from 10 ships. They latched onto the Watcher's energy signature, dragging it toward the system's sun, pulling it from the void, forcing it into real time, real space. The creature screamed again. Now it bled. Black light poured from its wounds. Now they could fight, and Deathworlders never wasted a chance. Ground teams on Earth activated ancient defense. Towers buried under old cities. Weapons older than memory. Built by forgotten hands. Massive plasma beams struck the creature from the planet's surface. It roared and attacked back. One Deathworlder ship, Blade 6, took a direct hit. It shattered. No survivors. But the rest didn't break formation. They closed in, firing, burning, tearing. Qasim stood by the whisper glass. The device pulsed with energy. He placed both hands on it. A deep hum filled the chamber. I'm inside it, he whispered. I can see it. I can touch it. What do you see? Zuri asked. Qasim's voice was distant. Darkness, endless hunger, but also a prison. A key. Fental leaned forward. You have the key? No, Qasim whispered. We are the key. The signal didn't just open the door. We did. Our thoughts, our fear, Our curiosity. Zuri spoke, quickly. Then reverse it. Turn the signal back on itself. Trap it again. Kasim nodded slowly. Yes. But someone has to stay connected. You'll die, Fen said. Kasim looked up. Then I'll die for Earth. In space, the Watcher's body cracked. Its wings collapsed. Its scream shattered comms for several seconds. Commander Sora shouted, "Now! All power to main cannons!" The fleet fired as one. Beams of light, missiles, railguns, all concentrated into the creature's core. At the same moment, Qasim sent a final pulse through the whisper glass. A single command, close. The sky turned white, then black, then silent. The Watcher vanished. The signal stopped. The countdown reached 0, and nothing came. The gate was shut. Silence filled the fleet. Sora looked around. Her voice was soft. "Is it over?" The AI replied, "Signal gone. Creature gone. Qasim, gone." A long pause. Then she spoke again. "Then we hold the line. For those who can't." Earth was safe, but the galaxy had changed. The Council now knew humanity was not just a race of survivors. They were gatekeepers. The Deathworlders had stood when all others had run, and what waited beyond the stars now knew their name. The stars were still. For the first time in days, there was no signal, no scream, no ancient pulse shaking the systems. Earth had survived, but the cost was heavy. Qasim was gone. Half the Deathworlder fleet was damaged. 3 ships were lost. Hundreds of soldiers had died to stop the creature from breaking through completely. Yet they had done it. They had held the line. And now, it was time for the galaxy to hear the truth. Inside Dagger 1, Commander Sora stood in front of the main screen. She wore no helmet. Her face showed pain, pride, and purpose. Her message would not be encrypted. It would not be private. She would speak so every species, every world, every cowardly council member could hear her. She nodded to the comm officer. "Begin broadcast." Across the galaxy, thousands of ships, stations, and planets picked up the transmission. Even the Galactic Council chambers, once silent in fear, were now filled with sound. Sora's voice echoed across the stars. "This is Commander Sora of the Deathworlder fleet. The thing you feared came for Earth. We stopped it." She paused, looked into the camera. Not with prayers, not with hiding, but with strength, sacrifice, gun, and unity. In the council hall, silence fell. Ambassador Reth from the Kalari shifted uncomfortably. Ambassador Vexi of the Tharn closed her eyes. No one interrupted, because they all knew they had failed. Earth had not. "We fought what your legends call the Watchers. They are real, and they were locked away for a reason. We now understand that the signal was not a call for help. It was a test, a door, a trap." Sora's voice turned cold. "You ignored the signal. You left us to burn, but that choice cost you something too." She leaned forward. "It cost you our trust." On Luna Prime, Zuri stood beside Fental. They watched the broadcast in silence. The whisper glass was now dark, cold, dead. But Qasim's sacrifice had saved billions. Zuri placed her hand on the machine. "Let them remember what it cost." Back. In orbit, Sora's voice rose. "We are Deathworlders. You feared us before. Now, you will respect us." She stared directly at the stars. "Because if the gates ever open again, if the void comes back through, we will not wait. We will bring the fight to them." The message ended, but its echo would last for generations. Across distant galaxies, whispers spread of Earth's stand, of the Deathworlder fleet, of the ancient creature that failed to conquer a small blue planet with stubborn hearts. For the first time in history, the galaxy looked at Earth not with pity, but with awe and fear. 1 week later. On the dark side of the moon, a memorial stood, simple, clean, A black stone with a name, Qasim Ahmad. He faced the dark, so others could see the light. Around it stood soldiers, scientists, and leaders from many worlds. Even a few council members arrived. Their heads bowed. Zuri gave the final words. He was one of us, a thinker, a fighter, a human. And he proved that in the end, humanity wasn't the mistake. She looked up at the stars. They were the answer. Later that night, Sora stood alone in her quarters. A small file blinked on her screen. Last, recording Qasim. She clicked it. Qasim's face appeared. Calm, focused. If you're seeing this, I'm gone. But maybe that's okay because I saw something out there. Something terrible. But also, something amazing. He smiled gently. We're not alone. Not just in the way we think. The universe is full of locked doors, and someone has to be brave enough to open them. He leaned forward, voice soft. Just be ready for what answers. The screen faded. Sora whispered, We are. And across the galaxy, the stars watched back, waiting, watching, wondering who would dare open the next door.